I've worn the Apple Watch Ultra Gen 1 for the last year and a few months, and I've really struggled to make a review about it. And the reason is because every time I tried to make a list of pros and cons, I would end up getting stuck. And the reason is because every time I thought about a pro of the Apple Watch Ultra, it was also, in my opinion, a con in disguise. Pro number one and con number one is the battery life. Clearly, the battery life is better. 36 hours definitely is much more convenient. You don't feel like you have to run to the charger at the end of every day or every morning. Sleep tracking is much easier just because you have more battery life. However, with that said, I feel like 36 hours is only good because I've been conditioned for years with 18 hours of battery life with the original Apple Watch. Now, 18 hours was a very difficult pill to swallow for a lot of people who started out, but then the idea of charging your watch every day for an hour quickly became the norm. You know, if you take a step back and you look at the broad spectrum of all the battery lives out there, especially with Garmin, you have Garmin who's killing it with battery life. Now, it's clear that they emphasize and prioritize other functions, while the Apple Watch Ultra is definitely making sure that you get all of the features. However, with the Garmin, you still get almost weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, solar charging, things that just make the Apple Watch Ultra's battery life seem still pretty abysmal compared to it. With that said, is the Apple Watch Ultra battery life actually a pro? Because in my opinion, it is, if only if you compare it to the Apple Watch or the original Apple Watch. But if you compare it to the other smartwatches out there, it's definitely not at the ultra end of things. Pro number two, which is also a con number two in my opinion, is the durable body. So titanium is amazing. I love the fact that I can hit my watch into the wall, the door, something, anything, and it's not gonna dent it or scratch it terribly. The glass is also much more protected. With the original Apple Watch non-ultra version, I always got screen protectors and case protectors, whether they were just films that went over it, which was a bummer because I would wear the stainless steel one because I loved the way it looked. But it scratched like nobody's business. That thing would scratch just by breathing on it. So while the pro for the Apple Watch Ultra is that it's much more durable, exponentially more durable, I feel like it's because I was conditioned with the original Apple Watch to feel like I have to baby the thing. And that's almost every Apple product, right? I feel this weird innate desire to just protect it as long as possible so that I don't have to, or I can at least minimize the urge to buy the new small iteration product that came out just because I have a couple scratches and it looks worn out. All that to say that the Apple Watch Ultra is definitely better, but again, in light of the fact that the original Apple Watch was something that I had to baby all the time. So hence my pro and con for the durable body. And pro number three and con number three, it's not really a pro and con as it is just more of a thought that I really appreciate the battery life and I really like the way that the Apple Watch Ultra has extended more functions. But at the same time, I don't use them. I don't even use the O2 sensor, or I think it's the O2 sensor. Definitely not the Dive, definitely don't use waypoints. Compass, I mean, gosh, I guess people who are doing trail running, if they really get lost. But these days, everyone has a GPS. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about all the functions of the Apple Watch Ultra. And with that said, it would have been great. Like, I truly would have appreciated Apple to create an Ultra watch that took out more than half the functions and just gave me 72 hours of battery life. I don't know, maybe 3-4 days or 5 somehow if you just really go down to the bare essentials. Heart rate tracking, sleep tracking, a timer, yeah, the weather. I mean, these things are awesome. Those are the things that I actually use. And some activities, it's difficult to say, but I definitely would have preferred to pay a premium for increased battery life over having functions that I will literally never use. Dive is cool, but man, how many of us actually go diving? That's a really good question. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you are a diver and if you actually use the Apple Watch. The idea of getting an Apple Watch Ultra from me really goes to two things. First is I want a better battery life. I want a more durable case, but I also want, which is a little bit more psychological, is the fact that I feel like it's enabling me to go out and not worry as much as I would have with the original Apple Watch. But it's so incremental. Sure, picking up phone calls and things like that are really cool. Cellular is really cool too, but I would trade those with just to get better battery life. I know I might be stepping on some toes here. Some people like all the functionalities there, but what do you think? Is 36 hours really worthy of the moniker of Ultra? Or do you think that, you know, for $800 you'd want a little bit more? With all that said, I wear it every day, which is really cool. Not many pieces of technology or gear do I touch and interact with on a daily basis. That's my review of the Apple Watch Ultra. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you use all the functions? Do you still want a better battery life? Does that even matter to you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.